We know that what we see there, that the violence that they're using, that's not what powerful forces use. You don't use violence when you're powerful. You use violence when you're weak, when you're cowardly. Honestly, it's a no sleep, but I was ready to go to bed. And then when I showed up at the fire, there was no one there. And someone said there's something happening at the barricade. And when I got there were flash grenades going off. There was tear gas still in the air. They were spraying us with their hoses, which probably had chemicals in them because there was a taste of chemical. Either that was residual from the tear gas, but it was there. And many people suffered. My friend had his arm broken by a bullet, a rubber bullet. You probably saw the woman who had her arm damaged. I don't know exactly where it is right now, but I saw her at many meetings. She was someone who really cared about the safety of other people. The first action I went to there, a DAPL worker drove his truck right into us. And he pulled out a gun, hit someone with his gun, and shot his gun in the air. They're willing to use violence, all right? They're willing to fight for this. And there are many people at Standing Rock right now who are willing to sacrifice their lives for this cause. They're willing to wait this out. And what we need to do is we need to recommit ourselves to nonviolence. We need to recommit ourselves to nonviolent direct action, because we cannot win with violence. We see the tools that they have. Look at the pictures from Standing Rock. Look at the weapons they have, and look at us standing there with nothing in our hands but this as they shoot at us. And you know what? They don't know how to respond to nonviolence. That's why they respond with violence. They don't know how to respond to it because it's not in their culture, because we live in a permanent war culture. We live in a militarized society. The elders were not happy with what happened on Sunday. They did not like the violence. They've been praying not just for us and for our camp, but they've been praying mostly for DAPL workers and the police, because they know that they're in a hard place, that they have to fight against this culture that they've been raised in, the thing that gives them bread. That's how ingrained this is into our culture, the militarism. And when I was standing there on the front line as they were spraying and shooting at us, I've seen tear gas before, I've seen all this stuff before. I've been seeing it for almost 15 years. And that was the first time where I looked the other guys in the eye while they held their guns at us and they sprayed us with the chemicals and we were suffocating from the tear gas. And it was the first time I looked at them and I said, this is really a war and you guys are on the wrong side. You guys are on the wrong side. There's not one cop here to protect us. From who? From you. We're the good guys, and you're aiming at us. And who are you protecting? An evil, greedy corporation. These are the basic needs out there. Wood, food, propane, gas, a warm place to stay. That's it. That's the basics. People are living on the basics. They need the basics right now, because that's what the militarized police and the DAPL forces are going to prevent from getting in there. We're doing everything we can to strategize different ways to get stuff out there.
Water is life!
Mini-Watoni!
Water is life!
Mini-Watoni!
Water is life!
All day, all night. That's what the chant is. And they don't hate the other side. They pray for the other side. Because they know it's their water too.
They're standing with us and standing with the water protectors at Standing Rock, protecting the water protectors. We treated 300 people dealing with hypothermia on Sunday night after the government and the corporate-funded law enforcement decided to effectively waterboard hundreds and hundreds of individuals, including my good friend Matt, who were standing and praying on a bridge, praying for a barricade to be removed so that the ambulances could reach camp and effectively take injured people up to the hospitals in Bismarck. And I feel that in light of all of the violence that has been enacted against this camp, the only reason that we have not had more casualties or deaths is because Spirit is protecting these people and we are standing in prayer, rooted in prayer. And I just want to invite you right now in this moment to feel the earth beneath our feet, holding us and giving us a foundation today on this land, this unceded territory that we are occupying. And I just want us to take a moment of praise and thanks for Spirit or Creator or Divine Energy or Jesus or Buddha or whoever you pray to right now, to give thanks that we have been protected in this struggle, that we have the energy and momentum to continue this struggle in North Dakota, in Florida, and all the many pipelines that are existing in the country today. I work with the Standing Rock Medic and Healer Council. I first traveled to North Dakota in September. I've been back several times. I just landed yesterday back to Florida. I'll be going back to North Dakota in a few days. I went out thinking that I would help organize some herbal tinctures that some of my hundreds of herbalist friends around the country had sent to camp. And I ended up stepping into a much larger leadership role because, as Matt mentioned, they need our help, but they need us with skills. And they need us with presence, and they need us with insight and humility and intelligence and willingness to have sleepless nights and to do this work and to not show up like colonizers and think that we know everything, but to step into the roles that are most needed. So I've been working as one of the main coordinators under the matriarch, Linda Black Elk, the Standing Rock Sioux ethnobotanist, as a leader in the Standing Rock Medic and Healer Council. And we've coordinated over 600 volunteer physicians, EMTs, paramedics, nurses, herbalists, massage therapists, midwives, mental health practitioners, and acupuncturists, and all sorts of health practitioners who have been serving the thousands and thousands of people at camp. One of the main ways that we've been serving is on the front lines, treating people that have been tear gassed and mazed and waterboarded and shot with rubber bullets. On November 3rd, a 16-year-old man was shot at point-blank range with a rubber bullet in his back, so much so that he started to cough up blood. Matt mentioned Sophia Wolanski, a 21-year-old woman that Sunday night a concussion grenade landed on her arm and ripped off all of the flesh to the bone. She has gone through 6 of potentially 10 surgeries to try to save her arm right now. FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force entered her hospital room after the 3rd of these mini surgeries and started to harass her and her family and intimidate them. These are tactics that are real and they're happening every day. The mental health forces at our camp have been phenomenal because PTSD is rampant at that camp. Helicopters and planes fly over every 10, every 15 minutes during the day and also at night, disrupting sleep, causing paranoia. It's not paranoia, it's awareness at this point. We're not making this up. This is not a conspiracy. We have PSYOPs, we have constant surveillance from the roads, we have constant surveillance from our robots and our devices. This is not paranoia, this is awareness, and the mental health crew is there not only to tend to this traumatic, immediate awareness of these issues, but also the intergenerational trauma of 500 years of colonizers oppressing and enacting violence against the indigenous people of this country. In addition to providing the immediate support on the front lines, at the 3 camps we have wellness stations that are providing for the health and wellness of the water protectors. Respiratory illness is really common when you're in a dusty environment and it's getting cold. Immune system things, we're all eating in common kitchens, we're passing around all sorts of germs and viruses all day long. But not just are we treating the health and wellness of the people living at the camp, but also the people on the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation, which is a 23 million square acre reservation covering 5 counties in North Dakota and South Dakota. And there are 2 positions with Indian Health Services that serve the 19,000 people living in these 5 counties on the reservation. That would be like there being 27 doctors for all of Orlando. So we are looking at one of the most medically underserved areas of the country, and the Lakota and the Dakota people are very much in need of healthcare support. And so many of them come from the reservation to the camp to be treated for their illnesses because they're able to get better resources and support there than they are through Indian Health Services. So the Standing Rock Medic and Healer Council is a conglomeration of lots and lots of volunteers under the leadership of matriarch Linda Black Elk, Sarah Jumping Eagle, and a number of other indigenous practitioners. And what we're calling for right now is a lot of supplies and a lot of resources. We've actually, since Sunday night, received literally every supply that we asked for. The country really has been giving us an outpouring of support. And what we really need now is funds, because as Matt mentioned, when the Army Corps comes in and tries to enforce their letter of eviction on December 5th, most likely they're going to be blockading road access, and at the same time we're going to see law enforcement enacting violence that's going to create massive injuries, a mass casualty incident that we're not going to be able to treat at camp, and we're going to need ambulance escorts to get these people to hospitals. And if the roads are blocked, we're not going to be able to. So right now, we're thinking about fundraising for helicopters, because that's what we're looking at. We're looking at people like you and me on the ground trying to defend ourselves against this really, really massive energy. And like Matt said, they're not strong, they're weak. You don't use violence when you're strong. And medichealercouncil.com, medichealercouncil.com, Standing Rock Medic and Healer Council on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And we work not just with the medics, but we're buying structures for Ocheti and for Rosebud and for elders at all of these camps and for families with children that don't have winterization, because we need to keep them healthy so we don't have to treat their illness all winter long. So the resources that you give to us are shared throughout all the camps and the front lines, medichealercouncil.com, and they are tax deductible. I'm really grateful that you all came out. Thank you, Orlando.
Water is life!